Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're fine. So, as always, I would like to take a moment with you together and take 3 deep and full breaths just to come here to this one beautiful present moment and to let go of everything what we don't need right now. So, inhale, exhale, let go. One more in and out. And the last one. So first of all, thank you so much everyone who was listening. I really am so happy for everyone showing up. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about visualization. That comes a little bit because I just finished reading a book about it. It's called Visualize, Think, Feel, Perform Like the Top 1% by Maya Raichora. I hope it's spelled like that. And yeah, she brought me back to the concept of visualizing because when I was making my instructor, I really used the visualization as primal tool to reach a certain depth. And I practiced like visualization like every day for a whole season. Because I did my instructor in Portugal. Yes, you have a little bit less depth there, but the waters is like 3 to 5 meters visibility, can be pretty normal. Currents, water temperatures on the surface like 16 degrees. So yeah, it's pretty tough to learn to dive or learn to teach there, but it's equally beautiful and rough nature. So the point is why I'm saying that is that depth is pretty limited due to the conditions, and I was preparing myself with a lot of dry training, a lot of lung stretches, full, empty lung stretches, a lot of reverse packs and stuff like that. So I got super flexible. That was not a problem at all. But I had still that scarcity mindset. So what I did is really like I was like really visualizing the dive and visualizing and visualizing. And the thing is, I have to say it really worked for the moment, and I really went to the depth I wanted. But the thing is, I think I made so big jumps. So like from having like made, I don't know, 1 or 2 times like free immersion at 20-25 meters to 37 and stuff like that. Jumps from 30-meter dives to 37. And with one chance, it's not like a lot of times. It's like one day you make the depth and then it's off. So there was always a lot of like pressure for myself because I had that limited time frame, which I also built up for me. So I put a lot of pressure on myself that I have to finish it until end of that season. And so I was really visualizing every day that I'm gonna manage the goal. Even I actually didn't believe in it. So it's interesting that even I didn't really believe in it, I really put that in my mind and it worked out. But the thing was afterwards, I didn't feel secure in that kind of depth. So that was quite interesting. Even I'd been there, I remember I didn't have a feeling of safety there because I did something which Sarah Campbell always told me. It's like riding the mind over riding the mind. It's like I missed like that part of putting safety in my kind of body. And so that's why I step a little bit back actually from the concept of visualization for quite a while. And I focused really on meditation the last 2 years. I haven't missed a day since then. And it has been really amazing because I've come to like not future planning something. I've come to really to see things how they are in the present moment. And implemented much more like the concept of getting to a depth and really feeling safety in the body and then coming up, getting to a deeper depth implementing safety, coming back in a much slower progression. I mean, the conditions, of course, in Portugal were different, so that kind of approach was there almost not possible, or it would have been possible, but it would have taken me much longer time that I would have given myself, right? So, but having the possibility after to do it, or even to accept that there is no depth, and also being like friendly to saying, hey, my body feels safe there, and then I go deeper, was like a super different approach for my mind. Because if you've heard my story, I had a lot of dealing with a scary mindset, I would say. I was afraid a lot, and I have to say that approach really helped me a lot, and I really include that in my teachings, that I don't want people to force them to go over themselves. Like, for example, we had last week Matthias here, wonderful person. He made his AIDA 3 course during an Endless Blue week. And on the first day, we just made a static, a dynamic, and a fun knife. And I mean, the static, it was his first day back on the ocean. And, he made like 2 minutes 20 something. But he did it like, he made one warm-up, second warm-up, third warm-up, then he made his final one. But he could make it like in a very like calm way, pushing himself a little bit, but still feeling safe in his body for this new approach. So for those who don't know, static is like holding your breath in the water without movement. And I could see him in the end, like smiling on his first day, making the dynamic well, but the static, letting it open for the week. And then on the last day, actually, I repeated with him the static, and he could go through contractions so much easier and so much feeling much more safe after the week of teaching. And so contractions, for those who don't know, it's the involuntarily breathing reflex, which tells you that you still have oxygen, but it's time to go to get some air. We're still not like, we're not a fish yet, hopefully soon, but we still have to breathe. And so in the last day, he actually made 3 minutes 30. And he came up and he even told me, oh, I couldn't even have done more. And I really love that approach of like letting people explore their limits in such a much more pressure-free way. And I'm sure he could have done 3 minutes on the first day, pushing himself through, doing something new, but going with the mind over the mind. And I know it really works because I've done that with myself. But I think if you give your body time to integrate, if you give your body time to rest and relax, the mammalian dive response gets triggered, okay? You adapt to apnea, to longer dives, to deeper dives, and it's a much friendlier way to deal with yourselves, in a much friendlier way to growth. And yeah, but then I got the book in the hand, and I just read it, I think, in 3 days, and I really loved it because it's described as just like the comparison between like physical and mental health. Not mental health, that's the point. Everybody says mental health, but what about if you think about your mental fitness? And so it's like a muscle you have to train, and every time you train it, it's getting stronger. And I think I've used like visualization to override like my feelings, like everything, just to box myself like through. But I really learned to love that book because I thought, I mean, we often also visualize like negative things so easily. Like I'm doing a pretty challenging meditation in the morning, and I'm doing that a pretty long time as well. And I could see myself, my mind telling me, oh, that's so hard. Oh, that's so difficult. And I could see my breath hold came more challenging and more challenging. So this morning I sat there and just visualized myself making this table like easily. And you know what happened? It was easy. Ain't that crazy? So I think we really have to look how we use visualization, in what kind of context. And also if you're like, there's a wonderful paper from Susana Lorenzo, and she wrote her psychologist master thesis about mental techniques of elite freedivers, or it's called psychological techniques. Don't put me with that, but it's about mental techniques in the end of elite freedivers. And I remember I used that for my master's thesis, and I remember it was like so many tools, people just like pep talk, like talking with yourself, like I can do that, it's more easy, and visualize using yourself, like feeling well in the situation. And it's like there's so many studies also that people who are like training and just training, and other groups of people which are training and visualizing self getting better, that the ones which are like visualizing and training have like 20% better outcome. So I'm starting to reintegrate visualization and thinking about how it worked in some times pretty well for me. I remember when I went to dive with sharks, for example. I mean, if you know, I had that shark paranoia that I couldn't look at them even in a newspaper, but I would sit down in Germany in Worms when I booked the flights for the Azores, went with my dear friends from Spot Free Dive, and I would sit there and I was visualizing the shark coming towards me, and visualizing the shark, like looking at it. And, if a shark comes to you, you have to make eye contact. Normally they turn away. And then there are different techniques where you can put the hand on and they turn away. I didn't even had to do that because, of course, I went with a very good guide who helped me. I mean, it was the first time with me sharks in the water. But I want to say, I really visualized again and again that situation, being with them in the water. So actually, when I was with them in the water, I was kind of prepared for that. So there it really helped me a lot, I have to say. Or another good example, I mean, I was paranoid always to speak in front of people. In like the first semester of making my master thesis, I remember we had to make, I don't know how it's called in English, referat. It's like taking a topic and speaking in front of class. Anyway, I remember I was so scared that I would just like read everything from the top to the bottom, and in a pace that nobody could understand. And I was just so ashamed, and I just went back to my seat and sat there. And then we made our movie. It's a great one, actually. It's self-made, but it's really worth looking if you haven't watched it yet. It's called 3 Women and the Sea. It's out on YouTube under Endless Blue Freediving. You can find it. And I remember I was sitting there as a spectator, and I knew I had to go on stage with these 3 women, which I admired so much, with Tommy. And I knew I was the one that I had to speak. And I just remember sitting there and visualizing myself being there on stage and being able to speak up, to speak to the people. And it went super well. And that was crazy because I had Joana Andrade next to me. She's the first woman to surf the wakes of Nazaré. I had Mafalda Oliveira, a deep diver with records of 65 meters on the surface. Lena, which in that time was still a normal surfer. Now she's a big wave surfer too. And I was like, I had to speak for them in front of everybody. And I remember it went so well, and it was just so amazing because I just put myself in that positive kind of mindset. And I catch myself so often, like with this morning meditation, thinking like, oh, that's a hard one, and then it becomes really hard. So I think visualization is for me also that day-to-day thing, to see how I really see myself, because I'm a really visual person. I mean, I'm a photographer. And I'm easy to see things negatively without even realizing that that's a visualization as well. So what I really got from the book is like seeing how I'm talking to myself, or like I'm visualizing myself doing certain things, and then like flip it upside down. Like instead of that waking up and seeing like, oh, that's going to be a hard meditation, just already seeing me getting tense and feeling me getting tense. It's like feeling it's getting easy, feeling it's getting well, feeling myself connected and straight, and look at it went much more easy. Another thing which I really liked was the negative visualization, which I already said a little bit with the sharks, which was like that for me, that it's a visualization, but with that negative aspect that you can also see that things get wrong, the sharks come getting close, what you're going to do in a certain moment. Or, for example, for deep diving, which is really amazing, you can like visualize yourself, imagine you're diving down and your lanyard gets wrapped around the bottom plate, and how do you make a quick release. Or, for example, another thing, your fin is going to break and you have to swim back to the surface with one fin. There are like scenarios where you can really practice like negative things happening for you, and then like imagining how you resolve them and feeling for them. And these ones I personally don't make so often because I have like that kind of scarcity mindset already, so I don't want to put myself so much in the negative. And that's also here mentioned in that book, that it's really, you have to check out if negative visualization is working for you. If you're a too negative person, that's really not recommended. And yeah, so I'm really happy to have read that book, and it reopened for me like the thoughts on visualization, and and also really like feeling it. And I think I really missed the part of the feeling it and the part of being honest with myself in those times. I just like pressured myself so much and visualized it so dearly, but I didn't let like the real feeling come up, the real fun of the progress of getting the instructor. I just pushed myself so through it. And so yeah, that's my only hope for you. If you use visualization, just be honest with yourself and see that you're not going to just go against yourself and just override it. But if you want to use it for your benefits in a positive way, like as I tell you, like stage, oh my God, it's a huge difference. Or I'm nervous for a presentation, it's a huge difference.
I think there are many ways to use visualization. And for me, it was just like pushing through that goal and getting from the one way to the other. But it's really like preparing the mind to perform something. And I think you can, especially for freediving, use it as a wonderful tool. For example, to better your technique, to you repeat your duck dive, how's it working? Focus on your streamline position, on your finning, on your turn, whatever is there for you to practice. And yeah, it's a good way just to mentally prepare yourself. I'm just saying, don't forget to build the trust in the body as well. And that's why I also wanted to leave you here a visualization, how I would do it. And so yeah, feel free to lay down, relax, and just listen to it.
Take 3 deep full breaths. And then you imagine yourself, for example, a visualization for deep diving, some miles away from the coast. And there's a boat and some buoys next to them. And you yourself are preparing for a deep dive. Next to you, there is your buddy who's taking care of your safety. And you hold on to the buoy and prepare for your dive. You breathe deeply and fully in the belly. Take a full breath in. Hold the breath and equalize. You turn around and dive down. Equalize. And you start finning. And equalize. And finning. You feel the water, how it still bends, getting down. You're making strong kicks with almost straight knees coming from your hips. As you get deeper and continue equalizing, it's getting easier. And you can start to free fall out of space into freedom. You feel yourself being held and hugged by the water until you come to the end of the rope. Make a turn, pull, and swim up with strong kicks, with a wonderful streamlined position. You feel relaxed and wonderful. With strong kicks, you come more closer to the surface. And in the last meters, you can stop spinning and just can let yourself be dragged up to the surface. Break through the water and exhale. Make your recover breathing. And tell your body you're okay. So this would be a visualization. And you can close it with 3 more deep breaths and come back to your normal things of the day. So what's important is to locate yourself wherever that is. This one was for a deep dive. And then to add as much details as you can. Very important is also like the feeling, the smell, the sound. Really immerse into the location. And yeah, you can do that with a lot of other things too. But let's say today with freediving. If you're practicing visualization as a freediver already, I would really love to hear your thoughts around it and how you use it. And yeah, that's going to be for today, wonderful people. And I hope you're really, really well. And thank you so, so much for listening. It's really an honor always having you. And yeah, if you're looking for also like a holistic freediving coaching, I'm always there for you. I have a wonderful online coaching, 1-to-1, where we can go through your freediving journey and see how you can become a better freediver in a very calm, free, and trusting way, trusting yourself. Because like doing mistakes, we learn a lot, right? And I think as I did it like wrong in some kind of way for myself, then I had to learn the other way, which is much more pleasant, much more fun. And I hope the same for you. So, having that said, wish you a wonderful evening. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. It's such an honor having you. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. It really helps to grow the show. Feel also free to connect with me on Instagram, share ideas or questions for future episodes. I really hope to see you next week. Bye!